Finding free stuff to pick up by using a helpful app can be extremely rewarding, well, most of the time. However, there are no guarantees that what you pick up will be in good working condition. Now, it does help to think positively about it, but most times you find something that looks like this. And it's clear that this mower has seen better days, but we're still going to try and save it anyway. And hopefully this won't come back to bite us in the end. In today's video, we're going to be looking at this snapper lawnmower. And the problem is that we just got it home, and by the way it looks, I doubt it's going to start. Now, the ad for this lawnmower did not make any claims about its condition, so we'll need to look it over and try to figure that out. And by the way it's covered in leaves and dirt, it's pretty obvious that it's been stuck outside for a long time. The side cover is also completely missing along with its bracket, and the only way that can happen is if someone took it off. So there are a couple of smaller problems that's plaguing this mower, but nothing too serious. But I am quite hopeful that what we find with the engine will be a lot better. Because if it turns out the engine is bad, there's not much hope for it, and it might only be good for a parts mower instead. And according to the reading from the dipstick, the oil is only slightly above full, but the color isn't that bad either. And if all else fails, at least we'll get a full tank of gasoline out of the project. Also, don't forget to check the underside of the mower as well, because a lot of times the blade will either be damaged or missing altogether. Now, luckily, that doesn't seem to be the case here, although we do end up with a free Black Widow. But unfortunately, it appears its time outside has locked up both cables. That means to start this engine, we'll need to bypass the flywheel brake with a zip tie. However, we'll need to be able to stop the engine too, so another zip tie will be needed to disconnect the spark plug wire. Now, this is only for testing. We'll fix the cables once we know the engine is good. So it took a couple of pulls to start it, which isn't too bad, and although it sounded okay, you can tell the engine is a bit tired. So what's my take so far about this lawnmower? Well, it's not good news, but it's not bad either. But from the engine speed being a bit faster than normal and the missing side cover, I'd say this mower was probably used and abused. It was probably used to mow down tall grass on the large property I picked it up from, and it was more than likely not taken care of either. And if I had to guess, I'd say the mower was retired to a shady spot under a tree for the past couple of years. And for your information, this lawnmower is about 7 years old, at least according to the stickers on the engine. But of course, it was their mower to do whatever they want with, so I can't really get upset with them. And by the way it looks, considering its overall condition, it appears they got their money's worth out of it too. And as you can see, I'm choosing to give it a quick cleaning before I work on it, and this time I'm not even going to bother with my normal degreaser. There's really no need for such a powerful cleaner when you're only getting rid of dirt and leaves. Now, based on the condition of this lawnmower, I'm also going to take off the front plastics. That's because, more than likely, there's going to be a rat's nest of grass clippings hiding under there. But surprisingly, it's not that bad under here, and it's mostly dirt with a small amount of debris around the transmission. So do you have to go this far when it comes to cleaning or servicing a lawnmower? Of course not, and I would never fault anyone who chose to not go this far, and that's because it was their choice to make and not mine. Next, we'll take off both frozen cables so that way we can clean them, or we can choose to just replace them instead. But after looking at the condition of these cables, they just need a good cleaning and lubricating to get them working again. If, however, after a good cleaning, there's not a huge improvement in how they work, I might choose to replace them. Now, deciding if the improvement is acceptable when compared to a new one is a tough call to make, so I'll leave it up to you to make that choice. I do apologize, but I'm not going to show you the process I used to free up these stuck cables. The main reason why is because it's not all that interesting, and the process can take well over an hour, not including the drying time. Now, if you are interested in that process, just let me know, and I'll see if I can include it the next time. The main reason I'm choosing to try and save the cables is because of cost. Now, the brake cable is very affordable, but the one for the self-propel is very expensive. And if you had to replace both of the cables, the profit from the sale would not be very much. Now, because of the age of this mower, I'm choosing to inspect the valve clearances. The clearances can affect how well the engine runs and starts when it's hot or cold. So if your mower starts just fine, but is a pain to restart when it's hot, then the clearances might be off and needs adjusting. With the valve cover off, I'll then rotate the engine until one of the rocker arms is all the way down, while the one we want to check is all the way up and loose. I'll then use my 5/1000 of an inch feeler gauge to slide into the clearance between the top of the valve and the rocker arm. And surprisingly, the feeler gauge will not fit, which means the clearance here is smaller than 5/1000 of an inch. That means we'll need to loosen the jam bolt in the middle of the nut so we can make our adjustments so the feeler gauge will fit into the clearance. We'll then put the same 5/1000 of an inch feeler gauge back into the clearance and then turn the adjusting nut until the gauge almost gets stuck. After that, we'll then tighten the jam bolt while holding the nut still. And once that's done, we'll then rotate the engine again so the other arm is up and loose and do the same process there. So it's not needed to find out what the clearance has grown to, only that it's not where you want it to be. Now this one, however, is the exact opposite from the other one because the clearance wasn't too small but too big. The fix for it is exactly the same though. Loosen the jam bolt, turn the adjusting nut with the feeler gauge in the clearance. Now to be honest, I was expecting the clearances to be off by a whole lot more than this. So maybe this engine doesn't have as much time on it as I thought it had. But if you are curious, the clearances can be off by quite a bit and the engine will still start and run. However, it may not be running at its best and could cause it to have less power than it should. So if you tried cleaning your carb or even replaced it, but the engine is still running poorly, then you might want to try checking this out. So how often should you check the valve clearances then? Well, that's kind of tricky. Now, if this was my mower, I'd probably check it every 3 or 4 years, but I doubt it would need any adjusting. So the best answer I can give you is to just wait for when the engine starts showing signs of problems either running or starting. Also, make sure not to put too much oil into the engine, otherwise it could hurt it in the long run. But if you do put too much oil into the engine, just tip the mower over a little bit and pour out a couple of ounces. Now with the new oil in the engine, it'll make it really hard to read the dipstick. That means you might want to check it later on after running the engine. The very last item to take care of is replacing the missing side cover with one off of a different mower. Now because I plan on selling this mower and mainly for safety, I have to replace it. Now the reason is pretty simple. With the cover gone, sticks and pebbles can be thrown by the mower blade. And that could mean damage to property or even people, so I'm not taking any chances here. So with both cables free and working like they should be, oil changed, blades sharpened, and clearances checked, I think it's time to try and start the engine. Now that the engine is good and hot, let's see how it starts back up. Well, that's about the best we can hope for on this project, but there's still plenty of life left in it. But at least it looks a whole lot better than we first got it, and it only took a couple of minutes of washing to do it. I know a lot of people say they leave their mowers outside for years and have had no problems with it, and I do believe them. However, leaving them outside will increase the chances of having stuck cables and other weather-related problems. So if you do have to leave your lawnmower outside, leave them somewhere where rainwater can't reach it. But be very careful with tarps and buckets because they can have problems too. So my question is, do you leave your mower outside for whatever reason? Or do you insist on keeping your equipment indoors instead? Thank you for watching. I really do appreciate your time here. Please feel free to ask me any questions about this project or about your own projects, and I hope to see you in the next video.